Hey friends, welcome to my channel. How are you doing? Happy Friday, happy June, happy everything. I hope everything is going well for you. I am well. As you can see, I am doing so much better. I fully recovered. I'm not coughing. I thank God for good health. And one thing I actually kept telling myself, especially as I continued to sort of heal, was the fact that I am grateful for a healthy body, like generally, because I was like, hey, if I'm suffering like this, how are people who have other issues, other health issues going? Because way. Anyway, I'm glad to be well. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and I am so glad that you clicked on this specific video. So I moved abroad when I was an adult already, and one of the things that has been very interesting about this whole journey has been sort of communicating and still maintaining my friendships from obviously back in Kenya. I have mentioned, I think in my previous videos, how hard it is to sort of like make new friends the older you get, literally I think everywhere. And it's even harder when you move because you're in a new place, you're trying to settle in. There's just so much. So I sort of like have been able to maintain my friendships this far. And yes, I thought it would be a good sort of like topic to explore together. So from the title, of course, you already know, and my little background. But yeah, let's get started on some of the things I have found really helpful in trying to maintain my friendships long distance. Because to be fair, I only see my friends when I go back to Kenya. But one of the things that has been very instrumental is the fact that we communicate a lot. Well, by a lot I don't mean like we communicate every day, we talk every day, we text every day sort of thing, but we have sort of like found a way to communicate. So with one of my friends, we literally send each other voice notes every week on how we're doing, our challenges, our wins, literally everything. And that has been going on well. We started it last year, we did it the whole of the year, and obviously it was just like, oh, I miss you, see you when I come, and all that stuff. This year we are still doing it, and so far this is month 6, it is going well. The other friend, we sort of like schedule calls. By schedule, it's like, are you free, or call me, or literally just texting before calling. Sometimes she'll call me, I'll be at work, or I'll call her, she'll be at work, so we miss each other, which is something that happens a lot in long distance friendships, long distance relationships, long distance family relationships, literally, because you'll be calling your mom, which happens to me a lot. I call my mom, she's like, oh, I'm heading into work, I'll call you later. She calls later, I'm asleep. Same with my dad. So it's with my friend, what we do is with sort of like schedule, we're like, oh, I'll be free maybe on Saturday and all that. It has worked so far. Something else we also do when we are communicating is sometimes, obviously because we miss each other a lot, is if I feel like I have so much to share, I would send a text message and then she'll call me whenever, or vice versa sort of thing. So that has helped a lot. And to be fair, I don't know how friendships were surviving before technology. How? Because I'm imagining like writing a letter, posting it, it would get to Kenya maybe 2 or 3 weeks later. Within those 3 weeks, something else has happened. By the time she responds, something else has happened. Like, hey, what? I think it was harder to maintain friendships in the older days than it is now, because Another thing that has helped us sort of like maintain the long distance relationship is making things special. So some other people would do like virtual hangouts and all that stuff. We don't do that. And let me tell you, one thing is, even as I talk about my experiences, you will realize that you can pick what works for you and not necessarily do everything, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so like I was saying, one of the things is making it special. So if it's my friend's birthday, I'm gonna call her or send her a message, and then I will send a gift. So what happens is sometimes I just look for a local gift shop in Kenya and then it's delivered to their address, or I could collaborate with another friend and be like, I'll send this package to you, put it all together, send it to so and so, sort of thing, so that it's something special, something they still feel loved, even though like I am so far away or we are so far away from each other. So that has worked so well, and obviously when they get it, they're like, oh, thank you so much, all that stuff. So making it special. Something else that has helped is focusing on the quality of our conversations rather than the quantity. Like I mentioned when I was starting this video, is we don't talk every day, we don't talk every hour, we don't send each other 1,000 messages or call each other 100 times. I know I'm a bit extreme, but every time we catch up, we're like sharing personal updates, we are focusing on active listening to what the other person is saying, and really being there, like being fully present. So it's like you could have a whole hour conversation in a day, but you've covered so much in terms of updates, in terms of just listening, in terms of talking obviously about your own personal news if there's any, and yeah, that sort of like helps. So it's not like we're even focusing on how many times do we talk, how long the conversation is. Sometimes it's just like, oh, I was just calling to check in and stuff like that, I don't have any update or stuff like that. So that goes a long way. One thing that I have come to learn is to manage time zones and schedules. So in the beginning, I feel like sometimes I would call, you know, one of those days when you're just at home and you're like, let me talk, let me catch up with this person, let me call them, and you try call this one, they don't pick, you call another, they don't pick, you call another, they don't pick, and then it's like you feel some type of way, like you don't want not to be their friend, but then it makes you sort of like feel a type of way, or at least that's how I used to feel. But then I've learned over time that just because I'm free, obviously it doesn't mean they're free. And normally, yes, I would be like, oh, it's now 1 p.m. or it's now 5 p.m. so it's obviously they're awake or something, but I don't know their schedule, I don't know, you know, all that stuff. So it's been very crucial for both of us, both ways, to manage, keep in mind time zones, and of course keep in mind that someone may be busy. It may be the weekend, yes, but they could be attending a wedding, they could be helping cleaning the house, they're just not also free waiting for your time. Like when you're free, they're not free, kind of thing. So that is something that I've learned, and now when I miss a call or they miss my call, I'm just like, they'll call whenever, sort of thing. And it's the same. Sometimes though, I would like miss, there's a day this week actually, I missed my friend's call. So I was like, I'm at work, I'll call you when I get back. So I got back and I started doing other things and I slept. The next day I posted an Instagram story. My friend was like, call me. And I was like, oopsies. But yeah, stuff like that happens. But anyway, we obviously got to talk and yeah, catch up as usual. The last one that has worked so well for us is celebrating milestones and being supportive. So there's been periods of times where I'm either going through so much or my friend is going through so much, and we've sort of like have had to draw support from each other. I felt like my words were coming before my brain could process, or my brain was processing before my tongue. But yeah, we've had to be like supportive. We've had to go through tough times together despite the distance. We've had to, of course, celebrate milestones, celebrating birthdays. My friend got a promotion. We had to celebrate that despite the distance. It obviously gets better when we meet and it's like, yes, here's Norway, cheers to whatever, cheers to new beginnings and all that. But before we meet, we still celebrate it in our own little ways. And yeah, I know someone would be like, oh, that's expensive and all that stuff. It doesn't have to be. It's usually the thought that counts at the end of the day. And then obviously when you meet, you can do your own stuff. Before moving here, I used to my friend and I used to try restaurants in Nairobi. Every new restaurant we used to try. Now obviously with me being here and her being on the other side, it's a bit harder, but something we look forward to is when we meet. So once I've booked a ticket, I'm like, yeah, see you, and we start a countdown and I'm like, yes, we're gonna try this, we're gonna try that, we're gonna try everything. And it's sort of like just recapping literally the whole time we've been apart, and it's something to look forward to and something that keeps us going. So discussing the future, being supportive, and of course celebrating milestones has been really, really huge for us. So yeah, that is how I have been able to maintain my long distance friendships. To be fair, I don't have like 1,000,000 friends. My friend circle is really tiny. Of course I have so many acquaintances and all, but the people I'm very intentional with are my friends. And yeah, this has worked for us. It's still working for us, and I thought I could share it with you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for keeping me company. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And as usual, I will see you in my next one. Bye.